Hello, 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 everyone. I am so excited to see you all again. Let me know. I'm actually going to get this so I can get the chat going here. Let me know if you are dropping in. Let me know if you're here on the live so I can say hello to you as we go through today's just topic. And if you watch the replay later, let me know if you were doing that as well. So, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, depending on what time zone you are and where you are at. If you are just jumping on, please let me know you are here. Drop a hello in the comments or tell me where you are from. I can't always see people unless you put a message in the comments. And so I like to know who's here. Also, as we go through conversation today, if there's questions, comments, please use the chat. I love to have this be more interactive than me just being a talking head because I don't know about y'all, but sometimes I get tired of hearing myself. So anyway, welcome. Hey, Kisa. Awesome. Good to see you again. I'm getting lots of time with you today. That's beautiful. Today I'm going to talk about why an attitude of gratitude is not enough. You may have recalled that I made a post in the group last week. It was a post that I put out there based on a meme or a quote from Wayne Dyer talking about gratitude. And it really prompted me to start some conversation around what we really need or have opportunity to do when it comes to gratitude. A lot of people, talk about having an attitude of gratitude. It's all about having an attitude of gratitude. Hello, hello, everyone jumping on. Um, and I want you to realize that while having an attitude of gratitude is a place to start, it is not enough to actually activate the magic, the power, the energy of gratitude because it's not a passive space. And so when I say that, when we say let's have an attitude of gratitude, I'm going to equate that to the same as setting intention and not taking action. What happens is it falls flat. Oftentimes, it's a lot of lip service without any kind of real momentum or real traction behind it. And as we kind of dig into a little bit of the law of gratitude, it really is an activating force. It's an opportunity for us to amplify and attract more of what we want to feel grateful for. And the only way that happens is by putting gratitude into action, in putting gratitude into a space that is actually a verb versus being the space that feels very passive. And so I think about words like gratitude and love and joy. Um, Oftentimes we're taught that these words are just kind of like, hey, it's nice to have. We want to have an attitude of that. We want to have a mindset around that. We want to feel that. Yes, and I want to encourage that we look at these as being action verbs that really need to be put into motion in order for us to bring the magic forward. And so, what do I mean by that? I love this. I actually found sort of a definition or a framing for gratitude. I got this from The Soulless Nourishment and Underlying Meaning of Everyday Words by David White. But I love this, and so I want to see how this resonates for you. Gratitude is not a passive response to something that we have been given. Gratitude arises from paying attention, from being awake in the presence of everything that lives within and without us. And so I love that it's about this presence. It's about being awakened to the moment that we are in. So if we think about gratitude being a state, a presence, an activating force, we move ourselves away from just having an attitude of gratitude. It's sort of like saying, well, I might do that. I could do that, right? We can set intention all day long, but without inspired action, without some way of actually anchoring that in and propelling it forward, it just falls flat. There's not a whole lot of sustenance or a whole lot of like richness that comes out of it. And so I really love this. Gratitude is not a passive response to something. It's not simply saying thank you because something showed up. It's actually a state of being present. So, again, I'm going to read this. Gratitude is not a passive response to something we have been given. Gratitude arises from paying attention, from being awake in the presence of everything that lives within us and without us. And so, if you think about gratitude as a state of being in the present moment, gratitude is an activating force that says, I am so aware of what is I am blessed with, absolutely being in the present now, good stuff, right? So when we think about that space of gratitude is a present activator. It is a space of, oh, Rosalie, welcome. It is a space for us to recognize everything that we've ever needed is already here. that everything that we could possibly desire is already in motion and on a path to us. And when we are in a place of gratitude and demonstrate, practice gratitude, we actually amplify our ability to attract and open up access to the very things that we want more of. And so, what I want us to do is, I want to talk a little bit about shifting out of an attitude of gratitude and moving into a deliberate, intentional practice of gratitude. One of my favorite books, and I'm a huge fan of Rhonda Byrne's work. And if you don't know who she is, she's the one that created The Secret. She has a whole series of books. There's The Secret, The Power, Hero, The Magic, and I love The Magic because what it does is it actually introduces 28 magical practices of gratitude. So there are ways to amplify and activate gratitude every day. And so I want you to think about that for a minute, right? How can we be more deliberate? And so let's see. That's exactly what I tell my potential clients about weight loss, fitness, and overall health. People always say, I want to lose weight. I want to do this or I want to do that. No action behind, but they want the accomplishment, right? And I say that all the time. Intention is only as good as the action behind it, because intention with no action is just lip service. So when we're like, well, I have an attitude of gratitude, it's not passive. An attitude of gratitude is not going to be the amplifier that's going to attract more to you. It's not going to bring and that energy of abundance, right? And so there's a consciousness of abundance that lives within a practice of gratitude. There is a state of awareness and awakening and presence that we demonstrate in order to truly embody. So I want you to think about gratitude being a state of embodiment, an activating force, and a motion or momentum of us taking action to actually put it into practice. And so that's got a lot more depth to it than simply saying I have an attitude of gratitude, because I can sit there and say, well, thank you. But if I'm not feeling into it, if I'm not really allowing myself that embodiment of it, it just kind of passes and it's fleeting and it's like, well, I had an attitude of gratitude, right? I don't know why this isn't showing up for me. Instead of finding ways every day to create very intentional ways to be in that activating energy of gratitude itself. And so I want to give you a couple thoughts as we talk about the law of gratitude. So one is it's achieving a state of gratitude. There's an actual vibration around gratitude. So that when we are fully in the practice of gratitude, our vibration has actually been elevated. Because when we look at the 3 top vibrations that we can resonate with, that we can embody, it's love, gratitude, and joy. That is our highest vibration. So that if we are in a space where we have achieved a state of gratitude, we have also elevated, and we talk a lot about that in this community, right? We're talking about shifting the level of consciousness, raising and lifting the level of leadership, and that requires that our vibration be elevated as well. In order to, one of the fastest ways to raise your vibration is to put yourself in a state and practice of gratitude. Again, it goes far beyond the attitude of gratitude. It's not enough to just have an attitude of gratitude and be like, oh, thank you. It's the embodiment, it's the activation of that energy that elevates that vibration. So when we think about that, when we achieve that state of gratitude, we will automatically become magnetized to attract the things that we want that are most fulfilling for us, right? Yes, and the highest 3 vibrations are love, gratitude, and joy. They are when we are playing at our highest and best capacity, when we are magnetized and we've amplified our attraction power so much that manifestation, that creation, those things just happen. Because it's when, if you haven't felt it in a while, it's when we feel like we're in full flow. It's when we are in the sweet spot, when we were on our A game, whatever you want to call it. You know that feeling of being in a state of deep gratitude, in real, that practice of gratitude, because you feel totally in flow. Like you are simply aware of all that is with you and without you in that presence of that moment, and you're vibrating at such a high level that everything just seems seamless. You ever have those days where you're like, man, it just seems like I can turn water into anything, or everything I touch turns to gold. It's that Midas touch, right? It's because you're in that space. You're in that activated awareness. You're in that state and practice of gratitude. And so if you are already grateful, if you are practicing gratitude every day instead of waiting for things to show up, you are amplifying and accelerating your attraction power. So there's ways that every day we can practice gratitude. And one of the interesting ways, and I love this, Tim Ferriss does this in his talks, or used to, I don't know if he still does, but Tim Ferriss used to do this in his talks. And it's a space where at the end of his talks, he always tells people to close your eyes for a few minutes, for a few seconds. And what you do is you think of two people. So right now, it could be any two people. It could be somebody you like, somebody you don't like. You just simply think of two people. Close your eyes and simply then, in a space where you're deeply feeling this for them, simply say, I wish for that person to be happy. Right there is actually a practice of gratitude. What we don't realize is we're amplifying that feel goodness. We're amplifying that embodiment of wanting to gift someone with something that feels like it's a higher vibration: joy, happiness, love, peace, gratitude. So that when we offer that for someone else, if we are really in the space to say, I wish this for someone else, that can shift us out of any kind of negative spiral, any kind of lower vibration energy or feeling immediately. Because first of all, you can't be in a high vibration and low vibration at the same time, like fully. Now we can have two kinds of feelings at the same time. If you ever watched the movie Inside Out, I love that you can be happy and sad at the same time. Yes, but when you're in real joy, when you're in real gratitude and you're in the presence of it, it's really hard to have that negative vibration playing when you're in the fullness of something that is much higher. So in that moment when you offer that compassion, you offer that gentleness, you offer that space of, I wish for this person to be happy, as if you are bringing a gift to them. What happens is you are legitimately putting yourself in that presence, that space of gratitude. And so it's not ever about what you don't have. When you are feeling lacking, allow yourself to see abundance everywhere. So examples, and I love this, if you've done any work with Reverend Michael Beckwith, he talks about abundance in the blades of grass, abundance in the leaves, abundance in the wind, abundance in the water, right? Because there's things that we can see that go on for miles and miles and miles, and allowing ourselves, because it's amazing to me how many people that when I talk about having a practice of gratitude, they're like, I don't know what to be thankful for, or I don't know what to have gratitude for. That actually makes me very sad. Because when I think about how much abundance, how much we have to be grateful for every day, and it's interesting because one of the things I challenge people on is at the end of the day is to say, what's the thing I'm most grateful for today? And I challenge people that every day it should be something different. Because if you run out of things to be grateful for, you're not looking deep enough. You're not seeing the magnificence of everything that is around you. It could be the fact that your fingernail grew today. It could be the fact that you're still breathing. It could be the fact that you look outside and there's this beautiful green grass growing that's effortless. The fact that there was rain that replenished the crops. Whatever it might be, we have an opportunity to recognize the gratitude in every moment. And when we create a consistent practice around bringing ourselves into that awareness, we actually start to accelerate and amplify what we can attract to us. So the first piece around that is really achieving that state of gratitude. And I'm going to share with you some ways that you can put this into practice, because I think it's interesting how so many people get stuck with, oh, I don't even know what to do. Aside from saying thank you, there are many ways that we can create gratitude that can be a consistent practice. I actually set up reminders on my phone to remind me to do things. I have certain rituals that I do in the morning and at night. There are things that I do on a regular basis that I set up as sort of trigger points. Maybe you walk through the door, and every time you walk through a door frame, you remind yourself to say thank you for something that's beautiful in your life, or something good happens and you pause and you say, oh, that feels so wonderful, thank you. It's even those practices. I write, when I still write checks, I don't write very many, most of them are online. But when I get a bill or write a check, I always write thank you with a happy face, and then I write paid happy face, and then I write thank you with a heart. I write a love note to every single bill I pay, even if it's just in my mind. So if it's an automatic one that comes out and I see it hit my account, I'm like, thank you so much for those services that I was able to take advantage of because of this. I actually say that. I love paying my bills. I love being in a position where I can pay my bills. And so I find ways to have gratitude in everything. The way we eat, slowing down and really tasting it. Again, if you want 28 magical practices of gratitude, I encourage you to get the Magic by Rhonda Byrne. But I also want you to feel that I want you also to realize that happiness does not bring gratefulness. It's interesting because we often think they're the same thing, and what we don't realize is actually a state of gratitude can increase your levels of happiness by 25% or more. They are not the same. You can actually feel grateful and still feel sad. You can actually feel grateful and feel other things. And simply you being happy doesn't mean you are practicing that energy and activation around gratitude. And so being grateful will bring happiness. When we are grateful, we find more joy in the little things. We find more joy in our everyday activities, everything around us. And so you have an opportunity to appreciate the moment. Again, gratitude is about coming back into the present. Gratitude is about being very focused and intentional around what is around you and what is for you right here, right now. Gratitude also brings forgiveness and appreciation for a lesson learned. Oftentimes we always think, oh, I can't believe this is happening to me, when actually we have the opportunity to say, what is this teaching me? We move into a practice of gratitude when we are seeking for the lesson, or we are seeking to find the blessing in whatever is showing up for us, instead of feeling like something just got done to us. We are in a different level of consciousness when we move out of the shame, blame. I'm going to talk about this next week. But when we talk about the blame, oh, I can't believe that happened to me. I can't believe they did this to me. I can't believe, instead of saying, okay, this showed up. So what is being given to me as a result of this? What can I learn from this? What can I have a moment of gratitude around? What am I being reminded of that I'm full and abundant around? So we can shift that. If we get into a practice of when life is showing up for us, how do we take that as something to appreciate, something to have thankfulness for, something to be in a state of gratitude, instead of complaining and commiserating and blaming because something showed up unexpectedly, right? You don't need more than you have now. We keep seeking that space of needing more. We have this belief in our culture that we need more. We need more. I need to access more. I need to acquire more. I need to achieve more. I need to more. When we have everything we need in this moment to live in this moment. And if you believe that, and again, bringing gratitude back into the present space, you have an opportunity to realize and amplify the fact that, okay, what I have everything, all my needs are being taken care of right here, right now. While I can desire and manifest other things, it comes from a space of expansion, not a space that's contracted that says, I don't have, I need, scarcity. There's an energetic difference when we are like, I don't have that, I need it, I need more. There's a scarcity energy around that versus, wow, I desire access to more of this for these reasons. And then there's a more expansive space that says, I want to bring more of this forth because I get to do again, because oftentimes what we bring forth wants to have a place to go. And yes, I agree with that so much, Rosalie. We are already enough. And here's the thing. We have gratitude, and this yesterday, some of you may have saw, I posted a quick video. It was my birthday yesterday, and it's interesting to me because this is an example of practicing gratitude. It's interesting to me how many people complain and have all these woes about getting another year older, and oh, it's just another birthday, it doesn't matter, it's not one of my milestone birthdays, and whatever the languages you use around it, there's this energy that you shouldn't be able to celebrate, or celebrating birthdays is for kids, and whatever it might be, right? There's just this belief around it. We have this energy of, oh, I turned 48 yesterday, I have no problem. Somebody called me yesterday, a friend of mine, and was like, I can't believe you just told people your age. I'm like, I don't care. It's a number and it doesn't define me. It's just simply I've been on this planet in 48 human years. That's it, right? And but it's also something to celebrate. It's something to have immense gratitude for. It's that space of we are enough already because. The only because is you are here. There's no deservingness. There is no needing to be worthy of something. You are worthy simply because you were on this planet at this time in this moment. And when we think about that, that in itself is the ultimate gratitude. There is no accident that we are all here in this time in history, on the planet, in this space, in our locations, activating the people we are, connecting with the people we are. There's no accident by that. That didn't happen by happenstance. There is real intention around why we connect with the people that we do. They're either there to show us something we need to heal or learn about ourselves, or they're there to mirror something that we have been able to move through so that we can teach them something else that's going to open up access for them to tap into their gifts. Either way, there's something to celebrate. And there's this space to say, I honor, and I'm going to sit in a place of gratitude. And I know there's people that might think, oh, that was arrogant for Candy to go out and say, happy birthday to me, right? And I sent an email yesterday around it as well. when actually I want you to consider the other side of that. It's not selfish to say, I'm celebrating who I am. I'm having gratitude. I'm allowing myself to be in a practice of gratitude for the fact that I have been designed, I was given access to this world with the gifts that I have that are uniquely mine at this moment in time. That is bringing yourself into the presence to say, how do I honor that? How do I celebrate that? How do I have gratitude for that, right? Because we keep wanting to push that off us when we don't realize we have opportunity to be grateful. Real gratitude, the embodiment of gratitude every day. And so I say that because we don't need more. We don't need to be something. We don't need to deserve it. We don't need to. We just get to because. And so that space of we are already enough already is so critical. Gratitude contains everything. It brings everything, good, bad. It means it allows us to have gratitude for the spectrum of what we feel, for the spectrum of what we experience. Gratitude holds everything in its arms. Gratitude, again, one of the three top vibrations that we can feel. Gratitude is love. Gratitude is this space of love, of forgiveness. It is this space that allows us to encompass all of it and have gratitude for the experience just because. And I used to do a lot of work with Brendan Burchard. I still love Brendan, but he always says, honor the journey, right? Honor the struggle. There's gratitude in that. There's gratitude for those things that have been challenging. There's gratitude for those people who maybe have been abusive or tough or the trauma that we've experienced. All of that has opened access for us to shine our light and use our gifts in different ways. And I can remember, after going through, and it's not to say we don't have to do the work to get there. It's not like you can just snap your fingers and be there, but that practice of gratitude allows you to continue to hone that muscle, to put it into motion. And I can remember healing from the trauma from things with my dad and in my childhood. And I finally realized that God gave me my childhood so that someday I would step into my purpose. And when I realized the significance of that, and I remember I was 28 when I had an opportunity to really connect with a kid around some things that I had gone through. I'd never shared my stories with people prior to that time. And it was really clear that in that moment, the conversation we had changed his life. And when you recognize that me being able to relate at that level, I went through my childhood so that that moment could happen. And I think about all of the things, I think about the work I do now. Had it not been for the trauma that I experienced, had it not been from some of the abuse, had it not been from those experiences that almost leveled me at times, I've had some rock bottom moments in my life. And those rock bottom moments were my biggest blessings. Those rock bottom moments were the gifts that allowed me to work through what needed to be worked through, to do the healing, to get the resources, to learn, to do the work, so that I could now be here and be available and do the work that I do now. And so there's such gratitude in that. I can remember having a conversation with my mom one Christmas. This was years ago. And we were talking about what we wanted for Christmas. And I remember saying to her, I said, the only thing I want for Christmas this year is I want you to forgive yourself. And my mom got really emotional and she was like, but I wasn't there to protect you. You protected me more than I protected you, right? And I said, yes. And I said, and you did the best you could with what you had at the time. Because she truly did. My mom wasn't well. There was a lot going on. There was so many compound things happening. And eventually she got us out. She divorced my dad and, we left. And, but my mom did everything she could. And that wasn't her contract. That wasn't her path. And I told my mom, I said, I wouldn't wish my childhood on anyone. I wouldn't. And there's people that have had it worse, and we need to get out of that space of thinking we need to compare and, oh, my drama. We all have journeys. We all have trauma. We all have things we go through. It's not about whose is worse. It's all about it's there to present for us something. And I told her, I said, I wouldn't wish my childhood on anyone. I really wouldn't. And I wouldn't change my childhood for anything. I absolutely, where it was very difficult for me, in fact, and I even recognized it again this weekend, the level of forgiveness that I've had with my dad and my mom and myself and the whole situation in my family, I wouldn't be who I am today without that. And I've gotten to a place in my life where I truly love who I am. I love how I get to show up and what I stand for and my integrity and who I choose to be in the world. And my past was part of that. Those trials, those tribulations, right? Yes, our unique experiences prepare us to assist others for sure. How can I not express gratitude, real gratitude, embody that gratitude, be in the state of awareness of what that's brought forward into my life today? We miss so many opportunities because we want to keep complaining and commiserating around things that maybe were tough, things that leveled us, our rock bottom moments, instead of recognizing the gold that's hidden inside the mess, right? Our message is in our mess. Whatever you want to call it, we have been given what we need to step into our soul contract and purpose. And so, with that recognition, and I've had days where I've struggled. I don't want to take the responsibility for what calls through me and the work I do. And sometimes, no offense, I want to be in the fetal position and I don't want to show up for everybody. And my why starts to get so big that gratitude kicks in, that I was given this opportunity to do this. And I don't want to shirk that responsibility. I don't want to not show up in the fullness when I know that somebody's life could be affected by that. And I've said this every time I give a presentation or I do a training. I say this every time. And I've said this before, even on my Facebook Lives. You don't know who, you don't know how, and you don't know to what level you can affect, influence, or impact change for another person until you show up. And when you show up in a space of deep gratitude, in a state of gratitude, in a presence of gratitude, in a practice of gratitude, you are showing up in the highest and fullest capacity of who you are and the gifts that have been given to you. And so, yes, our message is in our mess. Many times, the mess, we just needed to get through it so that we could find the light to shine through. And so, knowing that gratitude contains everything is part of the juice in how we activate that, right? And then it appreciates the changes from the present moment. Again, it brings everything back. And it's one of the reasons I love when, and I used to struggle with this, especially in meditation, when they're like, oh, follow your breath. But it's one of the reasons, and I love the way that Michael Beckwith says, the reason they tell you to come back to your breath is because you can't breathe in the past and you can't breathe in the future. Same thing with gratitude. When you come into a space, when you breathe into gratitude, it brings you into the here and now. And so you can see what you have for now is here. It's right here in the now, and so that we can keep adapting our blessings as we go through, and then having a grateful mind and not taking anything for granted, right? And so it's shifting our mindset. It's having a gratitude mindset. It's having a gratitude attitude. It's putting it into practice, because this is the way that we continue to activate and amplify what we want to bring into our life, what we want to open up access to, how we create expansiveness, how we stay in an abundance mindset and consciousness, and how we attract the things that are really meant and designed for us. And so this is also being able to get into a deep feeling space to really feel and embody what gratitude means, and allowing ourselves permission to do that. So let's talk a little bit about what are some ways that we can create a gratitude practice. One is to set a declaration or to make a commitment to ourselves that we are on a consistent basis going to practice gratitude multiple times throughout the day. And again, if you need a place to start that allows you to do day by day, and it literally is 28 days consecutively, you build upon the practice every day. The Magic by Rhonda Byrne is so fantastic. It does give you 28 gratitude practices to implement, and they're small and they're every day, but they're ways that you can actually be creating a ritual or routine around this, because when gratitude becomes a habit, it becomes something that's disciplined and consistent. Again, you're staying in that higher level vibration and you're activating much more. So allow yourself to declare, to make a commitment to yourself that you want to engage in a gratitude practice. Then it's about beginning. It might be beginning with you journal, or you speak affirmations, or you speak gratitude, or you send someone a note on a daily basis. One of the ways you can, again, offer gratitude is to give it to someone else. And so maybe it's, I'm going to every day, every morning, I'm going to wake up and I'm going to send a message to someone saying thank you for something, and making the thank you relevant to who they are and how they show up in your life. Not just like, hey, thanks for being in my life. No, embodying the gratitude that says thank you for always being that person that has an ear when no one else is around. Or thank you for being that person that always knows how to make me laugh, even on my darkest days. Thank you for whatever that is, right? And give some meat behind. The more energy, the more feeling, the more context, the more depth you give your practice of gratitude, you give your gratitude, the more the energy and the vibration are elevated, and the more you attract what you want to. Write it down. Write down what you're grateful for. Again, you could spend every day going through gratitude, and you should not be in a place where you find you're repeating yourself. There's a million things to be, there's infinite things to be grateful for. Feel it. So feel the energy of the gratitude. Let it wash over you. It's amazing to me. People do practice like, oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. No, feel the thank you. Feel it in every cell of your body. Breathe in gratitude. Release all the other nonsense out, right? So actually feel that. Set a timer. One of the things I do, I have reminders on my, I have a reminder on my phone that pop up and be like, what can I be grateful for right now? Stop, take a breath. What are you grateful for in this moment? And again, it's putting me in that practice. It's putting me in that state. It's putting me in the presence of gratitude. Share the gratitude, gift it out, right? It feels so good to do things for other people without expecting something in return. So gift the gratitude. And then allow yourself to be human. We have off days, right? So some ways you can do that is sending a text message to someone. Thank you for making my life brighter. Thank you for this. Thank you for, making me laugh last week. You had no idea what kind of week I had. Thanks for whatever it is, just something small, reaching out to someone and just saying thank you. A gratitude journal, always a really helpful tool to keep us in that mindfulness of gratitude. And again, mindfulness is an energy. Pause before meals. Really think about where your food is sourced from. Really think about the farmers and the energy that went in, and the love and the care to till the soil, and the way it was harvested and how it was prepared, and give gratitude for every step along that way. Think about the fact that food didn't just arrive on your plate. There was a process, and every step of that process, somebody had a hand in bringing that food to fruition so that you have nourishment. Thank it for its nutrients. Thank it for it. But pausing before you eat, pausing before you do anything, allowing yourself to see the sequence of things that led to whatever you get to experience. There's so much power in that. Take a walk. My favorite way to do gratitude. First of all, I live in my house. You can probably all see all my trees behind me. I love nature. I love the trees talk to me, and I feel the gratitude when I'm in the abundance of nature. And so take a walk and breathe in the energy of the air and the atmosphere and the sun and the trees, and breathe that in, right? And allow yourself to be present. Think about the simple fact that we are put on this earth in this moment, in the magnificence of the trees and the mountains and the water. How are you not grateful to think I'm here with all of this that's around me that I just marvel in? And so allow yourself that space to slow things down. Do a body scan. Too often we take far too advantage of what our body is capable of, and we forget to love on it and thank it for all that it does. We complain when our knee hurts, or we complain when our hip, or I was joking, I'm like, yeah, I'm 48. And my body some days, especially with the training and things I do, it's reminding me I'm 48 and then some. And I could get really hung up on all of the ailments and all of the things that hurt, or I can remind myself of what my body's capable of. Remind myself that I lift 20-pound dumbbells when I'm training. Remind myself that I'm strong and that my body's ability to carry my soul around to do the work that I got to do. There is gratitude in, take a body scan, notice where something doesn't feel well, and give it love, give it gratitude for showing you something that maybe you need to be more mindful of, for showing you something that maybe you're holding on to that stress is manifesting in your body, for again, that lesson or that blessing that is trying to come through. It's that gratitude of the realization of what you're feeling into in the present moment. Write thank you notes, put reminders on your phone, call a friend. Thank your clothes. Think about how your clothes were made, what were there. I mean, if you think about being in a state of gratitude for everything around you, that everything, before you take a sip of water, before you put on your clothes in the morning, before you make breakfast, before you make phone call, be grateful. There's days I need to remind myself to be grateful for technology because sometimes technology makes me crazy. But think about that. There's so many ways we can. Maybe you're standing in line now that we're back out in the world. You're standing in line waiting, and instead of complaining, you simply close your eyes and say, what around me right now am I grateful for? I'm grateful that that we're able to be back in the store again. I'm grateful that I'm actually standing in this line waiting, that I can stand here. I'm grateful for it's putting things into practice. It's having that mindfulness that allows us to activate that space. Praying, meditating, great sources of gratitude. Um, take 3 deep breath, breathing in, bringing yourself into that present moment is a way to create the mindfulness around gratitude. It's a way to bring yourself and center yourself and guide yourself back to what's important. And so, again, maybe you stop and smell the roses. Maybe you know, donate, volunteer. One of the things they tell you constantly is if you're not feeling yourself and you feel like you're kind of down, the best thing you can do is go offer your love to someone else. We cannot serve other people when we're in our space. So volunteering, donating, all those feel good. And it's that space of allowing ourselves to show up and allowing ourselves to be in that present moment. Because again, gratitude is an action-oriented word, space, vibration. It is not something that's passive. It's something that needs to be amplified. It's something that needs to be activated. It's something that needs to be consistent. So just wanted to share a little bit of that with you today. Other thoughts or questions? I love the comments that came through. Thank you so much. Hopefully that was helpful for some of you. Those of you watching later, please just let me know you're watching the replay. And think about how you might implement a practice of gratitude in your life. Start small. Start with something, one thing at a time. And like I said, if you want some ideas that are really powerful, and there's so many of those that I actually implement in my life on a daily basis. The Magic by Rhonda Byrne, I get nothing for promoting that book. I'm just telling you, it's one of my favorite books. And I've actually, used to do coffee chats with Coach Candy, and I did all 28 days. We went through and I did a live every day. But it's so powerful. It's so powerful where we don't realize we have the opportunity to activate the energy of gratitude. And that when we do, how it raises our vibration and how it keeps us in a state of expansiveness and being able to attract the abundance that we want to bring forth. You are so welcome. Excellent. I love it. Let me know how that goes, Rosalie. I would love to hear that. And for the rest of you, I am grateful for you. I'm grateful for you showing up. I'm grateful for you being part of this community. Thank you for shining your light and being here, because together we are truly raising our vibration, and we are collectively starting to shift the level of consciousness, and it happens with each one of us. And the more we link arms and come together and do the little Care Bear stare, the more powerful that is for everyone. So with that, everybody, mwah, I love you. I will catch up with you. I believe I've got another live next week. Love to hear some comments. Drop them in the chat below. Otherwise, I will catch y'all later.